Don't even ask me what do I think about the first presidential debate, bro. From the moment Biden got on stage, this shit looked like it was a wrap, bro. Like, Trump embarrassed that man. It took this dude Biden forever to just get a sentence out. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Our president looks senile, bro. Like, it's not even the fact that I'm just excited to vote for Trump. It's to the point where I don't even think Biden's gonna live through another term. You know what I mean? Like, let's just call a spade for what it is. But nonetheless, we're gonna get into the future. You know, these kids are the future, so they claim, right? Some of them are destructive as hell. But nonetheless, we got asking Harvard students who they think they're voting for in 2024. And when the options is Biden and Trump, anybody got a coin? Anybody got a coin?
Who are you voting for?
I don't.
As a black woman, I would say, like, for citizens, and as a black woman, I would be fearful under presidency.
I can't even begin to list the reasons. It's that extensive.
Can I get 3 of them?
If anything, Bernie, come out of retirement. AOC, let's do this. Let's get in the game.
I'm here at Harvard University. Harvard University is one of the most prestigious universities here in the United States of America. The average cost of tuition here is up to $75,000, and these students should be some of the smartest kids in the world here. So today we're going to be asking them who they're going to be voting for in 2024. Right now, looks like we have an election between Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and we may have a few outsiders such as RFK Jr. This is an election special here on my channel that we'll be doing up until the election time. So if you want to see more of these, subscribe. And now we're going to go ask students who they're going to be voting for in 2024.
Who will you be voting for?
We'll have to wait and see. It's a little down the line.
Okay.
Just kidding. I'm voting for Biden. If it's a Biden-Trump matchup, then I'd be voting for Biden. Yeah.
What would make you want to vote for Joe Biden versus a person like Donald Trump?
I can't even begin to list the reasons. It's that extensive.
Can I get 3 of them?
Sure. He aligns with my values more. He's more pro-democracy, and I think he's a better person.
Okay. And with policies, anything like that?
He aligns with my policies generally across the board.
What are your policies?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
All right, this is we're hitting past the minute point. I gotta run.
We got like
sorry.
10 more seconds.
All right, I'm sorry, but I'm cutting this short. I gotta.
Who do you think would be best to become the future leader of America in this year with elections?
In terms of this election, I will be personally voting for Joe Biden.
And why so?
I think in terms of just keeping the rule of law and the state of our constitutional democracy, he's the best option.
What do you guys think about the current state of America?
Am I allowed to swear on here?
Yep.
It's dog shit. America's completely shit right now. I ain't gonna lie. Like, low key, I'm trying to go to Europe, probably move to the Netherlands or something. Either way, everything's just going to shit at this point.
Who will you be voting for in 2024?
Respectfully, I'm not voting.
You're not gonna be voting?
I will remain neutral.
Who would you think would be better to help America, Donald Trump or Joe Biden?
Like I said, I remain neutral. I got no opinion on the matter.
I'll be honest, both of them could make a case, Biden and Trump. Like, they're both focused on two separate matters, where Trump is more on the financial aspect of America and getting some of our alliances back on our side, because Trump just thinks Biden is the worst president of all time. But I can't even blame brothers for choosing not to participate, because it's like, we're not even inspired. We're not even looking for change anymore. Now it's just like I don't think either of y'all care about the change that I want, so this ain't my battle.
But you say you want to like leave the United States, so if we can make it better, who do you think can make it better?
Honestly, I have zero idea on that topic.
And what about you, man? Who do you think will make the country better?
Personally, I would think Mr. Donald Trump himself. It seems like people only like him just because, or people only dislike him just because he'll like say like a thing or two, like that people like think is like pretty rude. But I mean, besides that, I feel like
a thing or two. A thing or two? He said that Mexicans are taking all the black jobs. A thing or two? And that was just this week. You know what I mean? We might have to show this dude a compilation of Trump.
He ran the country a little more better than Joe Biden.
And what do the majority of the kids here in Harvard believe in?
I mean, most of them are lean towards the left.
And who will you be voting for?
I don't feel comfortable disclosing that information, if that's okay.
And who do you think the majority of these kids are going to be voting for here at Harvard?
I mean, probably Democratic candidates. So, yeah.
So we have between Trump or Biden. Do you think they're going to be going for Biden then?
For sure, yeah.
Who are you going to be voting for?
Biden.
And why so?
I think brother man he gonna vote for Trump. You know what I mean? Taking that plead the fifth route. Yeah, I know a Trump supporter when I see one. It's cool though.
Voted for him last year. I don't agree with like some of Trump's policies, so that's why.
And what policies would it be that you don't agree with?
Some environmental stuff. I hated like the what was it, the Willow Act or whatever. Yeah.
What do you think about America right now?
Like the whole country?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a tough question. I don't know if I have like any opinion about the whole country.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the current state of America, from protests, from elections, to inflation, to the border crisis?
Well, I feel like civic engagement and like advocacy and like protesting is a big part of our country and our history, and I feel like this is just an example of like our whole history. So.
Okay. And
yeah.
who do you think would be best to control the situation or get America back into control with this year's elections?
I don't know.
I ain't gonna front. By default, Trump. Let's just call a spade, bro. Biden don't look like he know what the hell going on, bro. You see how long it takes him to get through a sentence? Do we really want this man making these powerful decisions? Do we want... people gotta understand. This is the most difficult job that anybody can ask for. Running a country? You know how difficult it is just being a father? You know what I mean? Like, you know, the day you become a father or a parent, the responsibilities that's now on your shoulders when you decide to have children, that's a lot of responsibility, and that's for one life. Imagine being responsible for a country of people, different ethnicities, different religions, different skin colors, different states. Whew. By default, you got to give it to Trump because Trump still looks like he's there. Now, granted, he got like this Kanye-like perspective when it comes to the world, but when you're comparing them to senile Biden, it's like, come on, man, let's keep it a bean.
Who do you think would be best between Donald Trump, Joe Biden, or any other candidates?
I mean, I don't really have an opinion. I feel like politics are super complicated. I mean, I'm only 18. This is my first year. Like, this is why I'm here to like learn more. But I think everything's super complicated. I don't have like too much of an informed opinion yet.
Okay, cool. What are you studying here?
I'm studying government and ethnicity migration rights.
So this should be pretty important for you to know.
I know. Yeah, that's why I'm here to learn more. I'm here to learn more.
All right, you're a smart man. We're gonna ask you a tough question.
Oh, no.
It's simple. Who will you be voting for in 2024?
It's a good question. Definitely not Donald Trump. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that Joe Biden has done, and I don't agree with Joe Biden as a person, but it might be a situation where you're picking the better of two evils, so probably Joe Biden if it comes down to it.
And what are you guys studying?
And remember this girl's face because at the end of this video, she gives a very interesting response.
With what's going on in the Middle East, and this year we're gonna have elections in 2024, who do you think will be best to resolve this conflict?
Unfortunately, neither. You're dealing with either an alt-right extremist candidate or a closeted centrist of a Democrat that really isn't going to do anything because he's in bed with giving billions of funding and not allowing any sort of sanctions on that. So it's really tough. I mean, in our city, in our country right now, we have a really political system. If anybody remembers, Joe Biden was in 4th place after the New Hampshire primaries in 2020, and then all the other candidates except Bernie dropped out, backed Joe Biden, and all of a sudden he was the #1 front runner. And in 2016, when we tried to bring a progressive candidate once again with Bernie Sanders, we ran into super delegates that Hillary was already going to win and was already ahead before we even got to California for the primaries. So when you're dealing with such a distorted scale of choices, either alt-right or kind of pretty much moderate Republican, maybe slightly left with Biden, you're not really going to get a lot done. So I definitely think that neither candidate is going to provide much hope for this situation.
That was like the longest version of just saying I'm not voting. But okay.
And what we're doing right now and whatnot across the country is the best way to sort of seek attention and activism and whatnot.
He was talking about Joe Biden being in bed with other countries. Do you think the politicians are currently trying to fund this crisis that's going on in the Middle East, or
I don't even think it's a question if the military is funding it. There is obviously like $90 billion that has already been passed by Congress to go over there. And I think the roughly like $90 billion that has already been passed by Congress to go over there. And I think the rhetoric is that the military-industrial complex is protecting the United States or protecting the interests of Israel, but I fundamentally do not trust the agenda of the military-industrial complex.
Okay, if it gets down to Donald Trump and Joe Biden, who will you guys support?
There will be a third party.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm going to support who I always support, Vermin Supreme, the #1 political candidate that offers everybody a free pony, that if we're already going to throw away a vote to once again pretty much a centrist Democratic candidate that isn't doing anything. Where was all the police reform, Mr. Biden? Where was all the stuff you promised in 2020? Marijuana is legal in 30 to 40 states, but at this point, still no federal grip on that. And when it comes to the minimum wage, when it comes to a lot of issues where inflation is kicking the living shit out of us, like $8 for eggs and whatnot, and we can't get a raise on the $7.85 national minimum wage, he's not doing anything. He's a puppet up there, and he's a puppet for other people that are already comfortable and settled and just trying to get their corporate backers happy, so neither of them. If anything, Bernie, come out of retirement, AOC, let's do this, let's get in the game.
And also here in the United States, we've received over 8 million, potentially up to 16 million migrants. What do you guys think about the migrant crisis that's going on here in America?
I support open borders.
support open borders.
Oh, hell yeah.
And why do you guys support open borders?
This isn't our country. This country was founded on genocide and culture and taking it from indigenous people. Whoever the wants to come here should be able to come here. Why did we get to come here? Why did my ancestors get to come here?
A lot of y'all don't know this. You know what I mean? A lot of y'all be feeling entitled because you guys are Americans. But little do you know the history about America, we kind of just bum rushed the Indians and took over this place and called it our own. You know what I mean? And that's just the history of it all. We just kind of strong-armed our way into owning territory, earning land, and either killing or doing whatever we had to do to take it away from the people that were here before us. Christopher Columbus didn't discover shit. How do you discover something that's already found? So I could respect her not having the issues with borders and stuff like that. Like, why should we block people out from entering this country when we took it? It's kind of like their stance. But then again, it's like, there should be proper protocol. I'm not with everybody illegally migrating to this country without proper paperwork. But I can respect the fact that it's hard out there. You know what I mean? Some of these countries, there are no resources. There's no government for the people. There's no child care or Medicare. And some of these people need medicine and they need resources. So they're trying to survive like all of us, right? So America's the land of make-believe, or where dreams come true, or whatever the catchphrase is. So I can't blame people for trying to sneak up in here and take some of our benefits. But it needs to be done properly. So, but I agree with her. We don't really own this turf. So who are we to, box out anybody that's trying to become an American? With good intentions, at least.
They were actually fleeing oppression of the UK. So it's just like the cycle repeats itself until it doesn't. Like, this isn't our country. This is Turtle Island, and it belongs to indigenous people. And it wouldn't have been the United States of America if it wasn't for culture. And genocide.
A lot of the people that are coming out of the country, we don't know who they are, and they change their names once they cross the border. You guys have any issues with that?
I mean, we don't know who's in this country.
Yeah.
Do you know how many shooters and serial killers and people in this country that are incredibly violent?
How many politicians are rapists who literally run our country and are here to keep us safe? And how many cops have been brutally hitting students, young children? Like, videos of children looking out the window, watching their friends get beat by adult grown-ass men. What the
What do you guys think will be the solution to all this?
A spiritual revolution where people truly understand that we're all connected and that they are connected to their own bodies, because you wouldn't be able to violate the body of another person if you were connected to your own humanity and your own body. And so it's like a psychological heart spiritual revolution where we have to unprogram the psychology that we prioritize profit over humanity, over connection. And in this capitalist culture where profit is the main priority, we're not going to be able to achieve that.
Thank you.
Primarily a Christian country.
That's the most important aspect. A capitalist country like America that literally prints millions of dollars a day, bro. It's all about the bottom line. And unfortunately, women and children, and like they make valid points, right? Like, we need to care more about the people. But in the grand scheme of things, let's be honest, bro. We're expendable compared to the real mission here. Because at the end of the day, it's all about power and it's all about money. The little people that are complaining about equal opportunities or things to protect, health insurance and shit like that, the things that we really want to fight for, the president don't really give a damn about that. They're just that's for the local, like the mayors and people that work within the small communities. The president oversees all of us, all 50 states. You think he's just gonna sit down and listen to one person's needs when there's chaos happening in every other state that he's responsible for? They make valid points, but I don't ever see a president really taking care of those kind of things. Like, it's just not the bottom line priority in a country that's driven and controlled by finances. You know what I mean? It's all about the moolah in America.
More people start.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, like we talk about there needs to be gun control. There needs to be a stop to all these mass shootings. Kids shouldn't be able to buy guns and bring it to schools and kill other kids. Obviously, there's an obvious solution for all this. There really is. You know what I mean? But the government is in such cahoots with these people that manufacture these weapons. It's a business. And if I tell you that you can't now sell to 18 or 17-year-olds, we're taking money out of their pockets, and then you have conflicting interests. Like, the government is working with these people. So as a result, yeah, they'll make certain laws in certain states that ban you. Like in New York, you can't walk around with a gun. That's 3 years just for possession. Forget about catching a body. You don't even need a body in New York. They catch you with it, 3 years. We'll figure out the rest when you come out. But before I lose my point, so you do have states that have higher gun restrictions when it comes to protecting this shit, but mass shootings are not going to stop because at the bottom line, the country makes too much money off of being able to sell guns. So it's like they're contributing to the chaos that we want to stop. But in efforts to stop it, it's going to cost them money. And they're not ready to relinquish that bread. That's what it is.
Not believing in Jesus and following his teachings?
Jesus is also a patriarchal story that has been co-opted by mainstream religion.
A ton of white people.
Yeah.
His literal name was Yeshua. Like, that's not even his name, you know?
It's not about institutional religious indoctrination of people trying to control them. It's about a genuine connection to like the spirit and godliness and nature.
And the body. Like, we were just talking about this morning, this genocide couldn't happen if it wasn't for the level of true disembodiment, which is also perpetuated by the prison industrial complex, the medical industrial complex, capitalism, I mean, the whole 9 yards. People aren't in their bodies, or they wouldn't be able to pretend like this isn't happening.
Do you think there is a current leader who could potentially become president that could solve these issues?
No.
It's about unity.
No, it's not going to be a top-down revolution.
There's no savior.
Because in hierarchy and in the current political system, everyone will be corrupted by money.
Money is the root of all evil?
It's not money, it's capitalism. Money is just a tool. Capitalism is a psychology and a consciousness.
Would we be...
Well, shit, you would have thought I went to Harvard. Wasn't I saying the same thing? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just is what it is. It's unfortunate, but it's the real world that we live in called America.
Be better underneath socialism?
Socialism is a political system. Communism is a political system. Capitalism is an economic system. So people get very confused when you talk about dismantling capitalism. That has nothing to do with communism. It has nothing to do with socialism. This is political versus economic systems. And if we want to change an economic system, then we will have the imagination to form a political system that's actually about community and supporting the planet.
And so what do you do here at Harvard?
I'm in the trades.
Here we've talked to a lot of people here at Harvard, and we're talking to people about America and the elections that are going to be coming up. And most people say that everyone here, that the majority here are left-leaning. And why do you think that is so?
It's a good question. Well, schools look more liberal. Colleges tend to be more liberal.
Who will you be voting for?
Oh, I'll be voting Democrat.
Because you will be voting Democrat? Is there anything you'd like to see change from Joe Biden if he does win?
Well, help the students out a bit more financially. I can see that as a good thing.
And coming into 2024, who will you be voting for?
2024. Biden and Kamala Harris.
And with the elections coming up here in 2024, who will you guys be supporting?
No one.
I'm going to vote because I'm going to exercise my right, but I'm not particularly excited about any of the choices.
If you had a vote today, who would you be voting for?
Unfortunately, Joe Biden again.
Joe Biden again?
Yeah.
Why do you think so many of the college students here in Boston and at Harvard want to vote for Joe Biden? We haven't heard anybody that wants to vote for Donald Trump yet.
I think there's a lot of reasons.
He's the lesser of two evils?
Yeah. I agree.
And do you guys agree with the policies of Joe Biden of open borders with all the migrants that came in here into America? What do you think about the current economy of America?
I think it's right in the pisser. Yeah, it's no good. I'm voting for Trump because of that.
So you will be voting for Donald Trump?
Of course, yeah.
And what makes you want to vote for?
That man has a Boston hat on. He's definitely voting for Trump.
Donald Trump versus Joe Biden. The majority of people here in Boston are all saying Joe Biden.
You know what? All the corrupt people right now hate him so bad. I think you have to vote for him. They hate him so bad, and they're the enemy of my enemy. So,
do you think it's a sign when someone starts to get persecuted as much as Donald Trump and as much as people like Abraham Lincoln or MLK that they're actually the right guy?
Yes, exactly right. Perfect. Very well said.
And we've been talking to a lot of people here in the streets of Boston, Harvard, and a lot of them are saying they're going to be voting for Joe Biden. But do you think there's going to be a lot more people that are going to be like coming out of the closet that are secretly supporting Donald Trump here in Massachusetts?
I think that's very true. That's a true statement. I think that's very true overall.
What makes you want to vote for Donald Trump versus Joe Biden?
Like I said, I had this feeling the last administration was doing better. I think we've lost focus. He's in courts right now. We're really not focused on economy, immigration, basic jobs, just something for the people. We're in the middle of wars right now. All types of stuff going on. It just feels different.
Do you think other countries fear Joe Biden as president?
I don't think so at all. Unfortunately, no.
He's losing the respect of Americans and other countries while he's in office?
Yeah, I think there's a sense of weakness and stuff like that. And I don't think people want to bash him for his old age. I think people really realize they feel bad. And we have a sign of weakness all over the world and within the U.S.
Who are you guys going to be voting for in 2024?
I'm going to have to go with Trump. Trump.
And why so?
Because who else do we have?
Y'all not trusting Biden?
I missed my stimulus check.
You missed your stimmy? What makes you guys want to vote for Donald Trump?
I feel like it wasn't better, honestly, but it was like just more comfortable when it was Trump, kind of, in a way.
What about you, man?
I like his hair. Yeah.
And what are you guys studying?
Government.
Government. What about you?
Sociology.
Sociology. All right, well, you're studying government. And studying government, who do you think would be the best person to be in the president's seat?
Oh. I'm not answering that question on the internet.
Why not? That's what you're studying, though, right?
It is what I'm studying, and I have opinions.
Okay, and
Yeah.
what's your opinion on America right now?
America is a mess at the moment. Everybody's very polarized for a good reason. I'll say I don't want a racist in our presidency at all. So.
And what would make that person you're referring to as a racist?
Racist comments, actions, policies that they support, things that they endorse, anything like that.
And what do you guys like about Joe Biden? We've been talking to a lot of students here, and what makes you guys lean more towards?
You remember Joe? If you don't vote for me, you're not black. Remember that one? I'll never forget that quote. Oh yeah. Hey.
Joe Biden here at Harvard.
I think it's more of a lesser of two evils type situation. I think both candidates have done a lot of very bad things, but I think in terms of trying to choose between the two candidates that are most likely going to make it to the final vote, I think that it would be a better option to choose Joe Biden just because he is a lesser of two evils.
Okay, and do you guys feel safer underneath Joe Biden, especially with the wars that are going on? Who do you think would pose as a bigger threat to other countries as president?
By bigger threat, like what do you mean?
Like, people would have more fear.
As president?
Yeah, like
Well,
show
as
more
a-
respect.
As a black woman, I would say, like for citizens and as a black woman, I would be fearful under Donald Trump's presidency. Whereas Joe Biden, I don't think that he has it out for POC people at all. I know Donald Trump has great ties with like certain major countries, and Joe Biden also has great ties with certain major countries. It really just depends on the state of the world when they are presidents.
What could Joe Biden or Donald Trump do to unify America?
Oh, that's a great question. They will both have to lean more towards the center because both of them are a little bit extreme, or a little bit understatement. They're both very extreme at the moment, and I think Joe Biden's doing a good job of trying to lean towards the center and appeal to both sides, whereas Donald Trump is just very, like, he could have his own ideology at this point, you know what I mean? So that's the break. They both need to just lean towards the center.
What do you guys think about the current economy, and do you think there's a way that we can get down this inflation?
I honestly think the economy is in shambles. The U.S. is in trillions of dollars in debt to other countries. I think that inflation is just like an after effect of all of us being in debt. I do think that inflation will continue to go up unless we make major changes or unless we plan how we're going to pay these people back. I think that inflation will continue to go up because the U.S. really does not have the money to sustain the way we are living right now.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this election special here on my channel. Please drop a like and subscribe to this channel, and
Hey man, this is the future. Asking Harvard students who they think they're voting for. Damn if you do, damn if you don't, bro. Honestly, I think the best thing to do is remove your emotions and feelings out of it and just go with who do you think will last another 4 years in office. I have very low expectations for either party, but at the end of the day, I don't want to see my president die in the office. I'm gonna holler at you guys next video. Shout out to Harvard though. Y'all seem pretty smart.